every new client is a blessing. Every new opportunity is a blessing. And if I can help somebody else be blessed by connecting them with someone in my network that will help them move forward, we all win.
Welcome to GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, the Going North podcast, where authors from around the world help you realize that success is tangible. You'll leave with at least one new piece of inspiration or information to help you keep going north. Now let's get on with the show. Before the episode begins, we're going to give a quick review highlight about the Going North podcast from one of the guest turned listeners of the show. So we have another convert. Yo, that's right, another convert to the Going North podcast sanctuary, baby. I'm just joshing. It ain't that kind of party. But hey, this is a 5-star review type of party because the review is titled Dom's Humor, Insight, and Inspiration Are Priceless. I've been interviewed countless times, but speaking with Dom is a new experience. I love the ease he immediately put me in and the insightful questions he asked. I absolutely enjoyed all the humor injected in, as we all could use a little more laughter these days. Dom's interviews are all like this. He brings his guests to a relaxed space, and in return, they are open to give even more from an aligned and present place. I am a huge fan of Dom's and am excited to listen to even more of his guests and interviews. I would highly recommend listening to anyone that can use a little inspiration, information, and levity. Thanks a bunch from Feels Like a Good Friend via the Apple Podcast app and leaving that 5-star review. If you yourself listening right now would like to be highlighted in a future episode, leave a review on the wonderful Apple Podcasts app, Spotify, or the website goingnorthpodcast.com. And we'll be happy to do just that. Now let's get on with the episode for real. And today on the Highlight Reel Builder for Authors, known as GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, is the Going North podcast. And we got another super special, awesome human for you today, courtesy of the wonderful site that has a whole bunch of matches, podmatch.com. That's right indeed, where folks who get to pose themselves as podcast guests who are really experts in disguise get to reach out to podcast hosts. If the podcast hosts say, hey, your profile's cool, come on, you can come on down. It's another one of those occasions because today's guest in particular, she's an international speaker, y'all. That's right indeed. So almost like Sony, international speaker, baby. That's right. Best-selling author, communications consultant, and the founder, y'all. She found something of 30-second success that works with inspiring business owners and professionals who understand the power of networking and want to make the most of their connections with an impactful 30-second message that leads to deeper conversations and opportunities. So let's give it up for Miss LT herself, the lovely and tantalizing Laura Templeton. How you doing today, Laura?
Thank you so much. Today's a glorious day. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to come on here with you, Dom. I look forward to our conversation.
Oh, yeah, that's right indeed. All the magical forwardness. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So sweet. So since it's your first time on the podcast, usually try to get a little bit of the guest backstory so folks have an idea of where you're coming from. So that way folks be like, oh my goodness, they just came out the womb and they just became 30 and got like 300 years of wisdom. Yes, today. So my feeling is a little bit of background of how you got to where you are today, Laura.
Yeah, so thank you for asking that question. My background started out just like most other folks, went to college, got a degree, put it to use, spent about 10 years in corporate America doing construction project management, and then transitioned to being a stay-at-home mom. Discovered that I absolutely still wanted to have my hand in contributing to the family budget. So I started working with a network marketing company, learned a lot in my experience with network marketing companies, built a couple teams with different companies that eventually either closed or changed their business model and didn't fit with my philosophy. So I moved on. And at one point in time, I found myself in, that have built the opportunity of using networking as part of my marketing strategy, but I learned how to be a very effective networker and putting people first instead of worrying about what I was getting out of it, what I started giving and giving into it, because we know network marketing is really about relationship and building relationships and contributing to our communities and our society and helping others achieve what they want in order to help ourselves. And then I stepped into a leadership role with a networking organization called Professional Women's Business Network. And in that role, I discovered that a lot of people were struggling with being able to communicate effectively who they are in 30 seconds or less. When you have that opportunity to do your 30-second commercial, most people struggle. You got the people that either they rush through it and nobody really figured out exactly what they do because they just threw a whole bunch of words at you. We call that word salad. Then you got the folks that are saying stuff that has nothing to do with their business, right? Doesn't connect at all. But then you also got the ones that will run and hide in the ladies' room because they don't want to have to do the 30-second message because they hate public speaking. So I started helping people in my network, and word got out that I was helping. And I started getting requests to speak to other groups and organizations. And I love speaking from stage. I just get totally jazzed from sharing my brilliance with other people. It's knowledge that I've gained over the years. So in my perspective, if I learned it from someone else, it's not mine to keep, it's mine to give. And that's the perspective that I move forward with when I'm sharing from stage and getting that information out there. So just pouring into other people, helping them understand what it is they need to bring to their message, building their brains, helping them communicate better in a way that's more organic and authentic to who they are, that just connects on a deeper emotional level. And that's what I strive to do each and every day, helping people make their message make sense and make connections.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Helping folks make the message make sense. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. And eventually you'll make a lot of sense afterwards. That's right, indeed. All the quotas, all the 50-cent pieces multiply 1,000 times over, indeed. But that's not talking about, though, because a lot of folks, especially when it comes to like communication, like the most important skill ever, especially the wonderful networking aspect and the public speaking aspect under communications. Like, oh yeah, 30 seconds. Like, oh, what do I do? Okay, so I'm a platypus for the zoo. Like, wait, that's not it. I think I work for a random. Yeah, so I'm a guy, right? Like, yeah, helping folks get past that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So, what do you think is the main thing that should probably help people overcome with that? Do you think it may be a confidence thing, or folks just need that formula that you give them? Like, what do you think may be the
Mm.
main cause holds people back from the beginning of just not having that 30-second pitch ready?
Yeah, it's amazing because I think exactly what you're asking, the question that you have about the formula. Obviously, I teach people a formula. The biggest thing and the biggest challenge that I find is a lot of people don't see their own inherent value. What do they deliver, right? They're not understanding that that's what people want to see. What do they experience when they work with you? What are they going to get out of it? And it's not, a lot of people talk about the what's in it for them thing, the with them. And it's not necessarily with them in my perspective. It's more about the emotion. The emotional connection has to be there. You have to understand and you have to really believe in the work that you're doing. Having that formula that I teach really helps people understand. Number one, your ideal client has to be really well defined. A lot of people will enter into their networking and into creating their messaging but they're afraid to create a niche of who they really serve because they're afraid they're going to miss out on opportunities, or they feel like they could serve everyone and yet their message is just too broad. When you start to really define who your ideal client is, you're able to communicate more effectively who it is that you help and how you serve them, right? That's the biggest piece. And teaching people the formula and helping them understand that value that they deliver and bringing that value add to the conversation builds the confidence that they may be lacking, right? That confidence is key when it comes to being able to deliver your message, but you have to have a message that you believe in. The confidence will come with the right message.
Yes, indeed. Confidence does come from the right message, indeed. Because when you know what the heck you're talking about, it's like, sweet, I got the sword, I got Excalibur. King Arthur swag for me. I pulled out the sword, now I have everything. Yes, indeed. So, am I going into what the formula is so folks can have their own King Arthur experience?
Oh, yeah. And I teach the formula from stage. I teach it in my book. It's something that I talk about all the time. It's something that I learned years ago from Brian Tracy. And I just took it and used it in a way that made more sense to me. It worked really effectively. And it's It's very simple 4-part formula. It's number one, what's the pain or problem that your ideal client is struggling with? Number two, how do you solve it? Right? How do you solve their problem? How do you make them feel when you work with them? What is the result that people get when they work with you? Number three, what's your call to action? Most people, when they're putting their message out there, forget to tell people what they do, right? Somebody decides, oh my gosh, I need to talk to you. I need to have more information. How can you help me? And yet you don't tell them what you want them to do, whether it's schedule a call with me today, visit my website, sign up for my mastermind. What do you buy my book? What do you want them to do once they know that they need your help? Right? And then the last piece is your name and your company. Now, one of the things say to me, well, why do you save your name and company for last? So go ahead, ask me that question.
So why do folks save their name and their company for last?
All right. So I help people understand that what you say from the very get-go has to grab people's attention. You've got about 7 seconds to grab someone's attention. So why waste it on your name and your company? And if you say your name and your company, say you're a financial advisor, right? Hey, Laura Templeton with Edward Jones. Oh, she's a financial advisor. I don't need her help. Right? Or even, hey, Laura Templeton, 30-second success, 30-second success. Yeah, I don't need help with that. But if I said something like, oh my gosh, how many people do you know that avoid going to networking events because they don't want to have to do their 30-second message? And everybody, half the people in the room put their hands up. And even the guy that wasn't listening to you, all of a sudden is going, wait, why are we putting our hands up? Now you've got their attention. Right? So you've got to grab their attention from the very get-go. Like you've got the first thing that comes out of your mouth has to be more about that. Because once you've got their attention and you've told them what you want them to do, they want to write your name down. So say your name and your company last. Right? Laura Templeton, 30-second success. It's, they want to write your name and company down. So save it for last. Once you've got their attention, they know they want to have a conversation with you. They want to go to your website, save it for last. That way you give them an opportunity. Even when I tell people all the time, if you're at a networking event and they're using a timer and you get dinged, you can still have time to say your name and company while as you're sitting down. Make sure that you say it so people can write it. I've actually been in a networking event where somebody gave their 30-second message and he didn't even say his name at all. And the woman next to me is going, what's his name? What's his name? He didn't say his name. And then she was so intent on figuring out what his name was that she missed what the next person was trying to say. Right? So it's also an indication to the person who's running the meeting and the person that's going after you that you're done. So saving your name last has a real intentional purpose.
That top of mind swag right there, y'all. That's right, that cream rise to the top indeed. So Laura Templeton's giving you the secret to having the whipped cream to help you get more business. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. Because it's on the top indeed. So that way you can stay top of mind in your client's minds. Like, next person, forget them. I need that person's name. And that's freaking genius because a lot of folks don't think that. It's like, oh, yeah, here's my name. And then also, depending on the networking event or what type it is, like, you might have a name tag. So it's like, that's even more of a reason not to say your name in the beginning anyway.
Yeah, but even if I've been on virtual networking events where you have the name on Zoom, right? How many people put their business names up there, or a name that has nothing to do with who they are, or they signed in but they're using somebody else's login, right?
Oh, yeah.
You still have an opportunity to say your name, right? That's how we solidify ourselves in someone else's mind.
Destiny's Child had it right. Say my name, y'all. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. So my goodness, that's freaking amazing. So the beautiful thing is you also have a buck 30-second success indeed. So my goodness, what helped you to finally decide to get the confidence to put pen to paper and join the business of immortality?
Yeah, well, I love writing books. I love writing. It's something that I've always been really creative with. As growing up, I journal constantly, and I'm always putting stuff out there. And one of the things that, as a speaker, as a public speaker, one of the things I wanted to be able to do is give my audience something to walk away with, right? I give it everything that I teach from stage is in my book. There, it's what's the formula, how do you connect, what is it, how to build those relationships, and how to be a really good referral partner, and connecting people and building that community that you're looking to thrive with, right? So that book is just a culmination of all the work that I teach, the things that I help people overcome, the struggles and things like that, and just it's like all outlined right in that book. So it was a great tool for me to be able to connect with my audience and give them something to walk away with. A lot of times when I'm doing speaking, especially public speaking with organizations, they'll bring me in and they'll buy a copy of my book for the whole audience. And that way the audience has, the tools to take with them so they can actually implement what I'm teaching and have that as a reference guide. Because, sometimes our messages change, right? Or we need, learners are different. Some people are auditory, some people are visual. It depends on what type of learner you are. So to have not just me standing in front of you sharing information, but also having everything that I'm teaching written out in format that you can go back and learn more and reference really helps my audience. And that's really why I stepped into that experience of being a first-time author and having my book published. I have some other publications that are out there, but article wise, but having a book published is really a fun experience. And I'm looking forward. I have a couple more in the works right now because 30 Second Success was always intended to be a series of books. So I'm excited about that. I'm working on one for college students. I've got a request to do one for veterans that are transitioning back into the workforce. I've got another one that's talking about professionals, 30-second message for professionals, because professionals need that internal message as well as that external message. So I've got a couple in the works right now. My publisher's anxiously awaiting which one I decide I want to lead with. And then I have one that I'm really playing with that's kind of a little bit of a different spin, because it talks about 30-second success and the actions we can take in order to move ourselves into momentum, right? The action steps, right? What are those 30-second decisions that you can make that'll move you forward in your business? And when we start taking those little micro steps, those micro actions that move us forward, things start to change, right? We start to build momentum. We start to push the ball up the hill per se. And how do we continue that momentum to the point where we get to a tipping point that our businesses start to really roll forward and continuously? And what keeps us in that actionable state, right? That actionable mindset. And I think, sometimes it's really comes down to those decisions that we make in those 30-second increments of time in our lives, right? You can stay, you can decide that you're going to get up, go grab a cup of coffee, and then you're going to hang out in the kitchen for a little bit. And then you're going to go pick up the newspaper, or you're going to go get the mail. And then pretty soon a whole, hour, 2 hours of your day is going out the window, and you didn't get the sun that you needed to get back to at your desk. Right. But if you take the actionable steps and say, okay, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee, going to give myself a 5-minute break, come right back, then it makes a big difference. Right. You had mentioned to me before earlier when we were first talking about my calendar being all these back-to-back meetings, giving myself 5 minutes in between meetings just to kind of get my mindset in the right place, and how important that is. And you're absolutely right. When you're pushing yourself, sometimes it's almost like that action that you need to take. It's the decisive action that keeps you moving forward.
Yes, indeed. Got to keep moving forward, indeed. That's right, indeed. Got to have all them cushions, baby. That's right, indeed. Them cushions for all the pins of random meetings. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So you can pin down some victories. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So my goodness, looking forward to those future books, indeed. Looking forward to them, indeed. So 30-second success all day. Do you think there might be a big 90-second success book that combines like everything in the future?
I don't know. I never really thought about that. Just combining it. Well, pretty much the book that I have right now is the culmination of a lot of the work, right? So it's taking it and getting a little bit more micro, where I'm able to give deeper examples of specific work is what the next books will have. But if somebody just wanted to see the culmination of the work, it's really the book that's out right now, 30 Second Success, Ditch the Pitch and Start Connecting. So it's really about relationship building and helping you figure out how to be a better human when it comes to networking and making connections, right? It's about really having a heart of service, really putting other people's needs first before your own. And sometimes as business owners, we start to stress out, especially when the bank account's running a little bit low, right? But when we start to focus less on the income and start to focus more on who can we serve, who can we connect with, and building those relationships, a lot of introductions start to happen organically. And it's where those introductions are happening and people are like, how can I help you? What do you need? Who do you need to connect with? That's when more opportunities just start to come. When you start to do that for other people, it starts to have a return. And we have to be able to focus on that. But hey, sometimes it gets really stressful as a small business owner when you're still building, and but surrounding yourself with a really great people that can support you and help you be accountable to the actions that you're taking. And that's one of the reasons why I'm launching a mastermind right now, is helping people to create that circle of influence that will help you stay accountable to the goals that you're setting for yourself, and be accountable for the work that you want to do in a way that feels organic and supported and really helps you thrive in a environment of people that are moving in the same direction you are. So that's a beautiful piece that I'm really having fun with right now, is seeing who's coming into my mastermind and how that it's a good fit. And I love how organically the people that are coming together are really meant to be together, right? They're really meant to be in this cohort of, I call them success circles. In the success circles together, they're just really great support for one another, and their businesses really are complementary to each other. So it's been a lot of fun to bring people together in that environment as well.
That's what I'm talking about indeed. That definitely is a good thing indeed. Because an environment of success is definitely where success happens indeed. Success happens indeed. So, my goodness, you mentioned the relationship building piece, which is very important in business. Because, hey, like after you have that wonderful, successful 30-second pitch where folks be like, hey, just knocking at your door and be like, hey, I didn't get your name earlier. What's your name? Like, hey, where can I find you? And all that good stuff. And they find a perfect client. But anything you recommend folks to keep in mind after they make that initial connection with folks? Because sometimes folks may make a connection and they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this thing. And then crickets.
Well, a lot of times when I talk to folks is make sure you're getting on each other's calendars, right? And never leave a conversation without setting the next appointment. If it's somebody that you really want to work with and you really want to explore more collaborations and partnerships, ask how you can help them. What is it that they need? And then make a purposeful connection and say, look, let's follow up in about a month or so. I'd love to talk a little bit more about, maybe collaborating on a project with each other. And September might be a better time for us to have that conversation. Never walk away from a meeting without setting the next meeting, especially if it's somebody that you really enjoy talking with and sharing ideas with and really getting into the nitty gritty. And I've had several people that I've enjoyed having such great conversations with them that have now become accountability partners for me and have helped me grow my business. I mean, we have very similar audiences that we work with. We have very similar client bases. We do similar work, but different qualifications. We're attracting different types of clients. Maybe our ideal clients are a little bit different, but it's become a really natural opportunity to be accountability partners because we're moving in the same direction. We're creating a lot of the same things, and to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, like, oh, I'm working on this and it's not working. Hey, I've got some content that I need somebody to review. Can you review it for me? I'm putting a video out there. What do you think? What do you, are these are the touch points I'm putting out there. What do you think about it? Is there anything that you feel like I need to add or take away? So it's a great opportunity to create a collaborative connection with somebody in your network, and it increases your audience, right? They share your work, you share their work. You're helping one another grow in a way that it just feels right. Sometimes I think as small business owners, we're afraid to collaborate with people that serve the same audience we do because we're afraid that, oh my gosh, they're going to steal my clients. Not necessarily true. What they are doing is they're able to enhance the work that you're doing. I've actually brought a lot of my collaborative partners that serve the same clients that I do to some of my workshops, or we've partnered on presentations and things like that. And you know what? If I'm meant to work with you, great. If my friend is meant to work with you, that's awesome too. Because at the end of the day, it's about you getting what you need. And I look at it this way, every new client is a blessing, every new opportunity is a blessing. And if I can help somebody else be blessed by connecting them with someone in my network that will help them move forward, we all win. Small businesses need help. Coaches, consultants, service providers, we need help. We are out there doing the day in and the day out. And when we have the right support behind us, it just makes life a lot easier and more enjoyable. And I think that's the biggest piece of networking and building those organic relationships in a way that just you elevate one another. And it always comes back. It's that having that go-giver mentality. We all know Bob Berg and his work, and it's like, the go-giver mentality is so beautiful when you stop worrying about what am I getting out of this and get more about what can I give into this? What can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I serve you?
Ah, yes, indeed. That service, indeed. That's right, indeed. That abundance mentality right there sounds like it. It's like, hey, we're helping out the same clientele. But hey, at the end of the day, it's going to flow to somewhere, somewhere. Money's going to flow somewhere. But hey, at the same time, hey, friendships are even better because that way it'll flow a lot longer. That's right, indeed. A lot longer, indeed. It'll flow like five underdogs, y'all. That's right. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So my goodness, so with success comes setbacks. What would you consider your greatest setback that actually led you to your greatest success?
I think the greatest setback was just not trusting myself enough. So it kind of took me a little bit longer to get where I wanted to be. It took me a while to get my book out there, because I kept saying I was writing a book, writing a book, writing a book, writing a book. And I finally got tired of hearing myself say I'm writing a book. And the beautiful thing was my photographer, who was one of my accountability partners at the time, um, introduced me to my editor. And my editor happened to be launching her own press at the same time. So I wound up being her very first book that was published under Highlander Press. And what the beautiful thing, you start to look at, how all of that has changed my life. Like I went from I'm writing a book to writing a book to being published. And then she introduced me to my virtual networkers group, which is a global community of women networking together. And these folks helped me launch my book. Right. So I had a whole huge organization of people that just wanted to help me launch my book and get it out there. And then, through my virtual networkers, I've made some amazing connections around the globe that have just led to more business, more friendships, more creative connections and collaborations. And yes, it was a setback because I felt like I was holding myself back from getting my book out there. But once I took that step and said, I need help, and then finding the right people to support me in that and help me trust myself that it was good enough to finally be there, it just changed my whole world.
Ah, yes, right, indeed. Gotta love accountability buddies. They keep us accountable. That way we can actually do stuff.
Yes. Yes. They call you out. That you gotta have sometimes you have to have a little bit of thick skin when it comes to accountability buddies, because they will call you out when you're doing something that's especially when you're holding yourself back.
Exactly. It's like, come on. I just want to chill in my turtle shell, you know. I got these shades. Feels like I'm in a tie-dye zone here. It's like, no, get out that shell, dang it. Put on them Nikes. Come on, do it. Come on, get out. You said you're going to write that book, didn't you? Yeah, but this shell's comfortable. I got new pillows in here. It's a sleep number pillow in here. Like, it's crazy. Like, no, get on out of that shell. You got to do stuff. And it's like, yeah, I did stuff. Sweet. It feels good to do stuff.
Yeah. And then they're going to celebrate you, right? They celebrate right alongside you when you do accomplish the things that you say you're going to do. Right? And that's even more precious when you have people to celebrate with you and just, elevate you in a way that's like, we hear you, we see you, we're excited for you, we're in this together. It just changes everything. It
Oh,
sucks to
yes,
celebrate,
indeed.
doesn't it? I had a really good coach recently said to me, he said, all right, you're going to do this, 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 and this. And I was having one of those days. I was just really mad at myself because I just felt like I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And I called him up and I'm like, I need some help. Here's where I'm at. I'm stuck. I feel like I'm holding myself back. I don't know why I'm really stuck in this. He goes, all right, you're going to do this, 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 and this. And when you're done with that, you're going to get up, you're going to go to your husband's office. You're going to ask him to high five and celebrate with you. Then you're going to come back to your desk and you're going to message me that you did it. And we're going to celebrate together too. It was awesome. I did it. I got off the phone with him, did all 4 steps, went and did the high five. And since then, my husband and I have been high fiving on all kinds of cool stuff. But it really moves you to action, right? When you've got someone to celebrate with, it moves you to action. It's like that. It feels so good.
That's right. Feels good with all the O's out of a Cheerios box. Feels good. That's right, indeed. Celebrate, y'all. Celebrate more often. That's right. Celebrate yourself with other people and celebrate them with you as well. That's right, indeed. Celebrate each other, y'all. That's right, indeed. The bigger the celebration, the better. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Remember to celebrate. Don't just go from goal to goal. Be like, hey, I'm doing a thing. I'm feeling drained. Well, you didn't celebrate the last wins. Like, oh, maybe that's what happened. Just celebrate those wins, indeed. That's right, indeed. So, my goodness, so since you've been on a boatload of these podcast interviews, is there a question that you wish you'd be asked more often?
That's a really good question. So thank you for asking me that. But that's not the question that I think I would want to be asked more often. I think the best question that someone could ask me probably be what's next?
Oh,
And
what
if I
is
were to,
next?
so, yeah, I was waiting for you to ask me
that. Because some people just go on and answer. It's like a sub book.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to ask me. See, you knew I was going to be fun. Yeah, I think the thing of it is, and I think we always need to be looking for what's next, right? In our businesses, in our life, we need to have those goals. And I think the biggest thing for me, what's next is really just exploring. I love creating. I love finding new things. My husband and I have some really cool business ideas that we want to put into action around archery. We're avid archers. We love shooting archery. One of my friends wants me to consider writing a new talk where I can come out and talk about your target audience and shoot archery on stage to get people engaged in that. And I'm like, yeah, I could probably do that. That would be fun. But how many conferences are going to let me shoot an arrow? Like, what kind of insurance am I going to have? But that might be fun. But yeah, I think, the what's next question is one that I love to be asked because there's so many creative ideas always going on. And I think that's the one that people that as a podcaster, it just makes a lot of sense. Like people like, let's think about what's next. Are we thinking about what's next? Do you have goals? I have vision boards like you would not believe. And that's how we made moving to Florida in the last 18 months happen. It's just like, what are your goals? Where do you want to be 10 years from now? All right. So how are you going to make that happen? What does that look like? And how do you get there from here? Right. It's about the action steps that you're taking, right? The actions that you can take each and every day to get you closer to your goals. And that's why I think, it's so important to think about what's next. Don't think about what's now. What's next? right? You're already in the now. Whatever you do today is going to help you with the now. But what's next? What can you do today to move you to where you want to be?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're in the now, but yeah, focus on the next too. That's right. That now and that next. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right. Focus on giant chocolate bunny ears on top of a giant book. That's right, indeed. Next book, y'all. That's right. That's right, indeed. Or maybe a giant golden Buddha statue with a cheesesteak next to it. You too can move from cheesesteaks to gators, like Laura did, y'all. That's right.
Hey, we did find a Philly cheesesteak place here in Florida, not far from my home, and they are pretty darn good. South Philly cheesesteaks down in Bradenton. They're pretty good.
That's right, indeed. Well, speaking of food, if your book was a food, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's a good question. If my book were a food, it probably would be a juicy cheesesteak or just a steak, a juicy steak. There's a lot of good meat in there, man. It's just one you can sink your teeth into.
There you go. There you go. It's like a teacher feeding you the answer to the next question.
There you go.
Oh man. Well, we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but you're still in 2022, what advice would you give to yourself?
If I'm 25 and I'm still in 2022, turn the technology off and get out and live life.
Yeah, that's right. Live that life, y'all. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. She'll be one of the youngest grandmothers on the planet, y'all, at 25, y'all. That's right.
Yep, absolutely. I was not even a mom at 25.
There you go. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. Husband will be like, "Oh, wow, what happened to you?" Like, "Oh man."
He's like, give me some of them happy pills.
That's right. They come in bun form. Let me stop.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh my
Whether it's a
goodness.
messy bun or honey bun, heck, even a cinnamon bun, it's all fun on the bun indeed. You've been definitely fun on the buns. The folks need to have more fun with you and keep up with your journey. If the folks need to do that, what's the best way for folks to do so?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me is at 30secondsuccess.com. That's my website. So that's the easiest way. Or 30 Second Success. That's my handle on pretty much every social media platform, but I love to play on LinkedIn. So
Woohoo! Well, there you have it, folks. Head out to the wonderful LinkedIn's. Check out Laura's page. Follow her, connect with her, share some posts, see if you can get some success tips from her. Indeed, buy some copies of her book and share it with your friends, family, cat, camel, dog, and heck, even a penguin, or heck, even a dog and a penguin, or a penguin riding a dog. Indeed, so that way the penguin can charge in with 30-second pitches to get the raccoons off of the garbage. That's right. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. So, any parting words before we close up shop, Laura?
now I think the biggest thing is, if you're struggling with your message and you need help, ask a friend, ask somebody to help you get clarity around what it is that you do and how you serve your clients. If you're struggling and you're not sure what it is that you do for your clients, I've actually had people say that to me, believe it or not. Check testimonials. Your testimonials are going to light you up. They're going to help you find content that makes a huge difference in your wording around your message. And the biggest thing is when you have that message, your confidence will go through the roof. So get out there and share it. And definitely you're meant to serve the world, and the world's waiting to hear from you.
How's it going, my friend? I'm glad you made it to the end. That shows that you really enjoyed what you heard and you are an uncommon finisher. Thanks for giving this show a listen. If you really want to help out the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone that you care about or someone that needs to hear this message because we want to spread this podcast around like butter on bread if that's your type of thing. And if it's not your type of thing, still spread it around anyway, because good stuff needs to be shared with good people like yourself.